Welcome to another exciting episode of This That Type of Talk podcast, where we dive into the fascinating intersection of nerd culture and hip hop. Today we have a very special guest who embodies the essence of our show's theme. She's a talented actress, singer, known for her role as LaCienega Boulevardez on the hit show The Proud Family, and for being one of the original cast members of the iconic show All That.
Hi, I'm Alisa Reyes from All That.
Her passion for all things pop culture makes her the perfect guest to have our discussion with today. Please give a warm welcome to the multi-talented and my big homie, Alisa Reyes.
Wow. Thank you for having me. That was a beautiful introduction.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I feel so honored. How y'all doing today? Good?
Can't complain. You know, it's a lovely day in San Diego. We finally got rid of all that rain that was hitting us for a while. It was bipolar
It's
for a little
spring.
bit.
Happy spring, right?
Right.
Yes.
Well, spring now. Huh?
Yes.
It's spring
Yeah,
now?
it's
Oh, it is
It's
Spring.
officially spring. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Something
let's
taking
keep
care of
let's keep it fun for the spring and the summertime because I'm
Yeah.
ready. I'm over the winter.
Man.
I'm ready to get by the pool or an ocean and, you know, enjoy some rays and have a cocktail or something.
But most importantly, it's the year of the dragon.
There you
Did
go.
you hear? Did you know?
Yes.
If you don't know, now you know.
Mhm.
I
So
did
that's the
know.
year of abundance, right?
Yeah.
Well, shoot, I need that abundance now.
I feel you. I feel you.
So we wanted to start from the beginning because we know you've been having this career in acting and different voiceovers for quite a bit of time now. You're still young, but you know you've been a veteran in the game. So when you started your career at a young age, how did you get involved with Nickelodeon's All That, and what was it like growing up in the spotlight, and how did it shape your journey in the entertainment industry?
Wow, what a great question. I started acting when I was around, I would say maybe 7 years old, but I knew it even early on that I wanted to be on TV. I tried to stick my head in the TV, and my mother, God rest her soul, was like, that's not the way you're going to get on television. So I kid you not, my mother, we took some black and white. I don't know what compelled her to do black and white of me. It looked like I was wearing a quinceañera dress, and I didn't even have a quinceañera, but I happened to have a dress like that in my closet because every little girl has a princess dress. My hair was straight up crimped like it was, well, okay, it was the 80s. And I was going to say like it was the 80s, and I was like, but I don't age. I'm immortal, okay?
There you go. There you go.
Facts.
And literally we sent my photos with information written on the back. My mom was really cute. It almost made me feel like, you know, it was like a profile, like brown hair and, you know, her eye color and how much I weighed and my height, like little, my skills and my talents that I could do.
Yes.
I think she even wrote that I could, like, you know, do the hula hoop or roller skate or, you know, blow gum or whatever, you know, and I blow bubble. And it was really cute. And she just was so supportive about anything that I wanted to do. And we crossed our fingers, and lo and behold, I got a call from an agent, and I was like,
Nice.
Is this person legit? Because, you know, we're new in the business. We don't know. I was involved in dance classes and theater classes, and, you know, you talk to different parents, and that's kind of how you find out about things. I went in, I did a cold read, which means you basically read something on the spot and cross your fingers that you just say everything correctly. But that was one thing about me, is I was very confident. And this was something I organically wanted to do. She said, bring your mom in. And next thing you know, I had an agent. I went out on one of my first auditions was a national Honey Nut Cheerios commercial. So in 1990, I joined Screen Actors Guild, and I've been, you know, in the business going strong ever since. And, you know, leading my way into Nickelodeon from 7 till about 11 years old, I had done background work. I was doing, you know, under 5 lines. And then finally I was getting, you know, some little guest stars and some little small parts in movies. And I was doing tons of modeling and industrial work and yada, yada, yada. And I was really, you know, kind of, you know, I feel like I was paying my dues at a young age, which for me was a blessing. Because
Yes.
people that pay their dues or that start to pay their dues as an adult don't realize the trials and tribulations you really have to go through. And as a kid, you know, everything, you're like SpongeBob, you're like, it's a sponge, you know, so the trials and tribulations aren't that hard. As adult, what I'm trying to say is it's harder, you know,
Yes.
and, you know, nothing's handed to you on a silver platter. So you really got to do the work. So as a kid, I was able to kind of fly by having fun. And then finally I get this call. I get this call that, there's a sketch comedy show that's untitled that they're looking, it's a nationwide search. And my manager's like, you would be perfect for this. I remember I went in and I was like, I don't really know anything about, stand-up comedy or comedy too much. I've done my fair share, but like some of the people that were on the show, they literally did stand up. That's all they did. For me, I was kind of someone that was a jack of all trades, but I had a very outgoing personality. So my mom and I, we wrote a monologue and we wrote all these different characters. And I'll never forget, I used to put hats up on my wall and my mother goes, we're going to take all those hats and we're going to put them in a bag, a grab bag. And when you're in the audition, you're going to take a hat out and you're going to put it on your head and you're going to act like that character. So I was acting like Rosie Perez all the way down to like, a Valley girl to a this girl to a that girl. I was, pretending I was crisscross rapping. I was just doing whatever I could, to show them that I was fearless. And 7 auditions later, I get the call. I know by the 3rd audition, I put my feet up in the lobby on the coffee table and I like knew the receptionist's name. But literally 7 auditions later, I get the call that I'm the only one from New York. And it was Keenan and I being like kind of the last of the group. And I just was ecstatic. And they flew me out to Orlando Universal. And that was just the start of my nostalgic memories of a wonderful childhood.
What year was that when you went out, when they flew you to Orlando?
Like 94.
Was all that, did it air on its own block or was it a part of the SNCC block?
I felt like, it was a primetime spot at 8 p.m. I feel like it was his own entity for a millisecond and then it joined the SNCC vibration. Because I remember the introduction of us being a part of SNCC. Mm-hmm.
So those 2 things that I just mentioned, right? So as you know, I grew up I'm originally from the Virgin Islands, but I grew up in upstate New York and Florida, right? So.
We have a lot in common because I'm from New York and then we lived in Florida. So that's crazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Most Caribbean people do that though. That's crazy, right?
Right. Because we like that weather.
So the premiere of SNCC, I went to Georgia. I went to Macon, Georgia with my brother. And we watched the premiere in the hotel, and I was so hyped to watch it because I was excited to see the show because I hadn't watched all that prior, but I knew it was going to be a part of the SNCC block, or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So that's when I made the conscious decision. When I get out of school, I'm going to go to art school because I wanted to be an illustrator, an animator for either Disney or Nick, right? But I was always leaning toward Nick because I like a lot of the Nick shows. In 2005. When the last days they turned off the pipes and the slime thing, when you see off
the
of
geyser
Kirkman,
that Josh and I
you can drive down Kirkman Drive in Orlando, and then you see and I remember driving and they said boop, and it was done. And I was really because I was like I should have went to Full Sail because I came out to San Diego to go to Art Institute rather than just going to because I wanted to get out of Florida. I wanted to go do something different. But I ended up, and that was the end of that. So in 2005, when it shut down, I was bummed. So moving fast forward a few years into the future, I kind of gave up the whole art thing, right? And I got more involved with the music and the arts and stuff, right? But then maybe like 9 years ago, I got it reintroduced to a lot of Nickelodeon actors and producers and like getting into my voice acting and then attaching the music and getting music placements. And here we are today. That's the crazy part. That's so crazy. And when you talked about 90, because 94 was a big year for me. So I was introduced to a lot of stuff and including.
Those were the good old days.
Oh my gosh. And I tell people, if you grew up in the 90s.
Because what's happening right now? Don't get me started. Where are you?
Growing up in the 90s and living in Orlando? Come on. That's the center of the universe. Like
that was a good time for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what's funny too is with all that, my favorite part that you were in was when you were on the beach and you were doing the coconut skit. So that part
Island Girls?
had me dying. Yeah. I was dying laughing with that one. And I had just happened to see it on your Instagram page recently and it jogged my memory again. I was like, oh man, I remember when this came on. I was in there cracking up.
Those were the good old days. But it was so fun when they had the reboot of all that in 2019. Lori Beth and I got to reprise, our roles, and we came back to the island 25 years later and, we passed it down to the boys. So it was Island Boys. And I was like, that was a cute switch. I like that. I'm not mad. It was really cute. I remember like being backstage and I had to teach the boys how to get the rhythm and sing
Right.
forever and ever and ever. I never thought that I would be teaching that song, and I didn't think that that would be like a song that even had to be taught. But there is a rhythm and a pace to sing that song. If you don't know, now you know. But
And
it was so fun working on that show. Yeah, it was so much fun.
I can only imagine. Who would you say was your favorite person to work with out of like the whole cast? Like when you got on the set, you were like, oh, this person keeps it entertaining, or just, you know, says some funny stuff or whatever.
I think for me, I think Kenan Thompson he was like a teddy bear, like a brother. He made everything really just feel like at home. You know, when I first met the whole tribe, I literally like got dumped off the plane and into the school trailer where I met everyone. And I remember just being like, who's she? Who's he? Okay, that's what they look like. This is, you know, and I wasn't sure if this was everybody, but I found out like, yep, this is it. This is 7 of you guys. And I was like, sweet, we're all like a melting pot, United Nations. I mean, I knew from Bat, Lori Beth was mad funny. Angelique had just a vibrant energy. Katrina, her pacing and timing was spot on. Josh, he just had a really strong frequency that always reminded me of like a Jim Carrey type of vibe. You know, Kel and Kenan, just their banter was just magical. And Kel alone, his own entity, he's just, everybody had really something magical to contribute. And me, you know, I was the girl that I could play anything. I kind of called myself, there was a show back in the day called Laugh-In, and Goldie Hawn was on it. And I kind of called myself the Goldie Hawn of Laugh-In, if that makes any sense.
There you go. Yeah. And it's funny too, because all that is kind of like the in living color for you guys. Like everybody that went on there was very, you know, successful. Everybody built a career. Everybody had their own
and
lane.
like SNL for kids. They also had Roundhouse. That was a show, you know, so that was very similar, kind of like a Mickey Mouse Club as well.
Yes. A little bit more grown than Mickey Mouse Club, but not all the way grown.
Right. In between.
Yeah, the young adults.
Totally.
Transitioning.
Pardon me. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, TV is not like it used to be, but I feel like, you know, now the formula is kind of circulating and now we're finding things that have that nostalgic vibe. That's why it was so great to find out Proud Family was coming back. You know, it was just a matter of time, and to be able to be on 2 shows, to have 2 full circle moments was just really a big blessing.
And speaking of that, your character LaCienega Boulevardez in the Proud Family is a fan favorite. Can you share any behind the scenes memories from working on the show?
Oh yeah. What's great about working with the Proud Family, it's sort of similar to all that. It's like, you know, we're also all on camera actors. So we already have this like vibrant personality to bring to the table as it is. And we all have our own fan bases, and we already kind of know each other from 6 degrees of separation. I mean, realistically, this industry that I've been in for like over, you know, 35 years is really small. You would think that, you know, oh my God, it's so vast. No, it is small, and everybody literally has a 6 degrees of separation. With this, well, they don't like to call it the reboot. It's kind of like, what is it? A continuation, right? A reimagined energy of it all. So with all of us coming back, it's like we never left. I mean, what's fun about this, as far as like behind the scenes little energy to share, is that when we were on Disney Channel, we didn't have social media. So what's fun about now is when we got launched in 2021, the amount of press and the branding and marketing that Disney Plus did for us, and us being such a diverse show, or as those like to say, a woke show, talking about current modern topics and having a diverse cast that represent every spectrum of the frequencies in the world. And that's what I love. It's a melting pot of a vibration for everyone. And so for me, seeing us to be able to be a part of like D23 and speak on panels at Comic-Con, we did Celebrity Family Feud as a cast, which was like a bucket list of mine. So much fun. It felt great to finally be a part of a company that believed in us and really pushed us. So like the behind the scenes stuff, you have to go check out my social media, because I have like some exclusive clips, but it is so much fun. They gave us an opportunity to really be intimate with the fans and to really go out there and to represent. And for us as actors, that's all we want, is to be able to just shine that light, you know what I mean? And be that role model for people. So what I loved is that you would have thought that we were an on-camera show, but we're a cartoon, and they were treating us Disney Plus from day one as if this was live action. And I was telling everybody, we need to make this live action, because I think I look like LaCienega. See, look what a fan made for me. Look at this.
That was dope.
And she looks like me.
Yeah, no, for sure. It has a similarity. So you would definitely be able to pull it off, you know. I don't see an issue with it. And what's funny to me is it the Louder and Prouder where Kyla Pratt Penny switches into LaCienega, or is that in the original series where she wakes up and she is LaCienega? Because I think it's in Louder and Prouder.
Are you talking about my theme song takeover episode?
I think so. Like she wakes up and then she is LaCienega.
Oh, you're talking about one of the episodes. Yes, that was an episode that happened, and if I'm not mistaken, she like morphed into her or something. I don't remember exactly the details, but yes. And what's fun now is, like, you know, our character, the key artwork is slightly a little different. You know, LaCienega has a little bit of a different shape. Our clothing's changed a little bit. The hair's changed a little bit. Plus, we added on such a great cast. We have Keke Palmer. We have Billy Porter. We have E.J. Johnson. I mean, and then the guest stars, you know, like, forget about it. The list is just on and on. Lizzo. We had, you know, CeeLo, who I loved when he played the panda. That was my favorite.
Yes.
That was in season 1. But no, it's been fun. And then even me getting a chance to do theme song takeover, because I sing. I love when I get to have my Disney princess singing moments. It really means a lot when I get a chance to also sing and show, you know, different sides of my skills, because I'm not just an actress. I'm also a singer and a dancer. So it's fun when I do that. And I have some really fun things coming up later this year. I can't say what, but it's definitely pertaining to fun stuff with LaCienega. So you just have to stay posted.
Nice. And so how did you end up landing that role? What happened to, you know, connect the dots for you to get into the Proud family?
So, you know, after I did all that on Nickelodeon, I did the pilot and then I did the first 3 seasons, and they wanted to renew my contract, but I had got offered to be on a show called One World, which aired on Teen NBC, which was part of that Saturday morning lineup. Peter Engel did the show, and it was, you know, he was, you know, the producer of Saved by the Bell, City Guides, Hang Time, California Dream. So we were a part of that. And I did that show for a couple years. I even won a Hollywood Reporter Award for my role on that. That was an amazing experience. It was like the perfect next step for me, because I went from sketch comedy and then to scripted sitcom. And then that's when I started to get into TV and film. And I later moved on to doing soap work, like I was on Bold and the Beautiful and Passions, and I've guest starred on like ER, Without a Trace, Boston Public, you know, 6 Feet Under, American Family. I was a recurring on. I've been doing this for a long time. So it was a matter of time for me to be doing animation. And I'll never forget my theatrical agent. You know, I didn't even have a VO agent, was like, they're looking for, and that's also the thing, is they were looking for actual on-camera actors. So that's part of why I got in on this mission. They're like, they're aware of who you are. They want you to come in. And I remember when I went in, like, I had seen, there was a lot of other actresses there. I was like, I know her. And I was like, oh my God, like, okay, well, I'm going to do it. This is me. I'm LaCienega. And I remember when I went in, they were, I think, you know, everybody always has a little bit of a vision of their own POV of how they perceive the character to be. And I remember I said, listen, I know she's Latina and yo soy Latina. I'm Irish, Italian, Dominican, okay? But I don't talk with an accent. And just because I'm Latin doesn't mean I have to talk like this. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I was like, we don't have to put her in the box. I said, right now, I've been living in Cali for a long time, but I'm from New York. What if I kind of gave her a higher pitched Valley Girl vibe and kind of do the opposite of what you would perceive LaCienega to be? And that's kind of how she ends up talking like this in a higher register, you know, and the rest was history. They then opened the door for me to just be able to add my own je ne sais quoi. And that's what makes the family so special, is that we all add a little bit of our own spice to each character. They always keep the door open for us to add our own little spice to it. And I think that's what makes the job fun, is that they trust us. We've been these characters from day one, and staying these characters while, you know, it's current, it just makes us grow with them, and they become even more enhanced for the viewer to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what's funny to me is like with the One World show that you're talking about, I never even realized that I watched the show until I saw on your page. I was sitting, I'm like, dang, I've seen pretty much everything you've been in and just forgot about certain shows because, you know, so many different shows that pop up, so many different networks, things like that. And I was sitting there, I was like, man, this looks familiar. And then it's funny because I saw the one that you had with Brian White where you guys were acting in the show. Forgot what the name
I
of
was
that
on a show called Spider Games. Yeah, Stevie.
Okay, I even seen a couple episodes of this. I'm like, oh man.
That aired during the 9/11 year. And so anything that aired during that year, you know, so we lasted one season, but I had done like, I don't know, 30 episodes, you know, 40 episodes of it. And or actually maybe it was a couple seasons the way they broke it down, but I felt like I only did a couple years worth of work with it. And because of the 9/11, like it's like the same thing with the All That reboot. It happened during the pandemic. So, you know, what's nice is despite the run of certain things, the fans are always going to be there. I mean, I have some fans that they're so funny. They're like, yeah, we know that you were on Bold and the Beautiful and Passions, but we know that Spider Games is your first soap because it was kind of like the first soap at MTV. I was like, okay, you're theoretically, well, my children was when I was a little girl. I did All My Children when I was a little girl. I'll never forget being on that set. That was like my first soap set and I was a little kid and it was a Christmas scene. And I was so excited they had to give me all these gifts and there was nothing in any of the boxes. They were all empty.
And that's the craziness because soap operas, I saw a lot of soap operas because of my grandmother. So when I come home, you know, you only got a set amount of channels, one TV in the living room.
Victor, as the world turns.
None of the wrestlers, Victor every day, every day.
Victor raised all of us. Victor raised us all.
Right.
Victor Newman.
Victor Newman.
Newman Enterprises.
He raised everybody, man. That's crazy.
That's mad funny.
When my grandmother came, when she first came from the DR, she's like, I want to watch my soaps. I was like,
she's from the Dominican Republic?
Yeah, so it's funny. So it's weird. So my mom, it's weird. So my mother and my grandma, they're from Dominica, right? But they're from the Dominican Republic and Dominica. Weird. And then they migrated to the Virgin Islands. And then I was born in the VI, my dad, my brothers, cousins, everybody, and all of that. Yeah, it's a crazy dynamic.
My dad's from DR.
Yeah.
And he lives in the Dominican Republic, and my family's from a place called Mocha.
Mocha, yeah. That's in the DR?
That's in the Dominican Republic.
Oh wow, nice. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You got to do your 23andMe.
Listen,
that's what I have to do too. Because
I did it.
I want to do like how everyone does. 2% Irish. They forget everything and just find out that they're Irish.
You're like, but I'm 1%. You know, it's like to my agent, I'm 1%. I can audition for that role.
Yeah, I found out that everything I thought I was as a child was absolutely different.
It was different,
except for black. That was in there, but I never knew what tribe.
So you know what's real crazy, right? So when I was growing up, so my name is Kehinde, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I used to hate my name, right?
No, it's awesome.
Well, no, I love my name now. Don't get me wrong. I love my. Listen, I'm proud. Okay.
Sounds like a king. I didn't
know too much about.
She sounds like a king name, a royal name.
I didn't understand the concept of what my parents were doing when we were growing up, right? So like, I wanted my name to be like Zach or like the little basic, little simple names because
Zach Morris.
Everybody in my school, you can rhyme with certain stuff and all of that. And then
I got you. Yeah.
My uncle was like, "You'll figure it out and you'll understand one day." Later. So then when I discovered that I'm from here, my family's from there, I can speak that language, I know that. Listen, if you think my head is big now.
Well, it is kind of big.
That's what I meant.
It's got a big circumference.
That's what I meant. You know. No, but I'm just proud to be a part of like that whole, just being Caribbean and being able to. I had the
So you like oxtail like me?
Yeah, man. I eat off oxtail.
And your flapenos and your rice.
Facts. But it's dope. I always, I'm very proud of my background and where I'm from and the things that I know. So. And I'm a geography buff, so I know a lot about history and stuff.
We're gonna have to do an episode, Mr. Carmen Sandiego over here.
He's like National Geographic over here. You're National Geographic over here.
That's good. I should do the voice of National Geographic.
Yeah, you could do like Snoop Dogg did.
You want to be the Morgan
episode.
Freeman?
I have to work on my Morgan Freeman.
The voice of God. The voice of God. He's the best. Yeah.
Transitioning from on-screen acting to voice acting can be challenging. What was your experience like moving into voice work? And do you have any tips for aspiring voice actors?
Do you have any tips for aspiring? See what I did? See?
Yes, I'll give you I'll share a little bit of you got to focus to get the pocus. So transitioning wasn't that hard, but the only thing is it's more energy than anything. Everyone thinks, oh my God, you could just show up and talk. And I'm like, yeah. And you got to give triple, quadruple of your energy because that is all the mic gets is your voice. Yeah, and your voice is your tool and your tool is your instrument. So I also coach acting and do workshops and motivational speaking. So in my seminars and my classes and my sessions, I tell everyone always start off with a vocal exercise. I think that's beyond imperative. One of my favorite vocal exercises is, I am the very model of a modern major general. I have information, vegetable, animal, and mineral. I know the kings of England, and I quote the fights historical from Marathon to Waterloo in orders categorical. So that's from the Pirates of Penzance. It's like an opera. And so I like to kind of incorporate all these little fun little nursery rhymes and songs. It's important to warm up your voice. And then when you get your script, you have to kind of dissect it a little bit, right? And connect to it. So I like to, share the basic like 5 W's, like the who, what, when, where, why. That way you can connect to what you're saying, why you're saying it, when you're saying it. And an actor is just an actor saying lines if they don't have subtext or a thought. So it's beyond imperative to really break down, even if you have one. I had an audition recently. I'm a working actor. I write, I produce, I audition, I do everything. I'm a jack of all trades. It was one line. And everyone's like, oh my God, one line, so easy. The one-liners are the hardest. And you go, how did that person book that job? Because they connected and created a whole backstory for that one line. And if you go into everything you do in life, it doesn't matter if you're an actor. You could be working behind a desk, doing a regular 9 to 5. It doesn't matter. You have to have intention and you create that manifestation because I'm really big on the law of attraction. Right. Then you will be your most organic, authentic self. Yeah. So that's what I just say is it's about connecting. I want to believe it. Don't just say it. Back it up with an intention and then everything will flow like water.
You know what's really crazy? So when you had your setup at San Diego Comic-Con last year, I literally walked past your desk or your not desk, but your booth. I walked past it.
Yes, it was a desk. Twice. It was my president's desk.
I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I'm speaking to a legend, yeah.
Your podium.
Your podium. My leash. I walked past your desk
table
twice, and it's so funny. I looked. I was like, "The fuck? What? I know her." Like, but I left, and I went to the office, and I came back, and I'm like, "What the fuck? I know her." Like, I was like in my mind, I'm like tripping, right? So then I go upstairs. I'm at the front. I'm talking to everybody,
and then we're 2 ships passing by.
Right, and then so Cal. So when we're talking about all that 6 degrees of separation, Cal is that's like my little bro, like. Cal is like funny. My guy. Like I'm like Cal goes, "Hey, dude, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Stop talking like that, bro. What?" He goes, "You're gonna come over I'll be there later, right?" So he leaves, and then you come over, and then you start talking to me about
like why are the cast members of all that just popping out in random faces?
It's wild, right? And you just say, "Hey, where's the Uber? Where's the thing?" And I'm looking, I said, "I know you," and you're like, "You know." Oh
yeah, I was trying to find my Uber.
Right, and then you said, I was like, I'm looking, I'm like, I don't, and then they hit me. I'm like, oh shit, so bad. I feel so bad. I was so hyped. I was like, can I get a picture with you real quick? Because if I take a picture, they're gonna get mad at me. But I don't care if they get mad at me. It's worth it.
No, we were fine. You were very sweet. I do remember you. Yeah, no, but that's what I love about these things is we get a chance to meet people like you. I'm a very friendly person. I'm always gonna say hi to people as long as I'm the reflection of you. Don't be weird. I won't be weird.
Don't be weird, bro. Like, come on with that weird stuff.
Respect my bubble. We're good. But at the end of the day, I mean, this past year as an actor, most people know that, Screen Actors Guild had a strike for about 6 or 7 months, and it was life changing. It was an imperative strike to happen. And now that we're done that phase, I pray and hope that it just continues to thrive and represent all of us to the best of our ability going into the next batch, because it's going to happen again. Every couple of years we're going to have to go back to the tables.
Yeah.
But this is a step because everything that happened, like for me as a voiceover actor, with AI and all these different things, it's imperative for all these things for us to keep up with the Joneses, to keep up with the times. So of course these moments in time are going to have to happen. It's just a part of life, so that's why last year I couldn't have the logos or certain things on my banner, so it felt great to have my true fans be there and to come visit me as me as my own entity. I actually felt it very, very empowering to not have to sit there with logos, and for people to just, genuinely know you as your own person, Yes, all these different endeavors and shows that I've been a part of are part of why I am who I am and trailblaze the path for me. But, you come to a point where you are your own entity, So I feel like you have to look for the gift of everything. And that's kind of what I found last year during the strike, is that it was empowering to be your own entity and not to have to fall on a coattail of a frequency.
So you've lent your voice to the highly anticipated video game Starfield. Can you tell us about the experience working on the project and the characters that you've portrayed in the game?
Yes, Starfield was so much fun. It's one of the, one of my first video games I've actually done. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. I did about, I think, 4 or 5 voices on it. Took about 2 years to do. I did it while I was pregnant and after my daughter Rosemary came out of my body. So it just goes to show you, it's like the same with Proud Family. It could take a year for animation to happen. So patience is a virtue, but it's worth it. This game in particular was amazing. I played the voice of Lillian Hart, who is a bounty hunter, and I talk with a Southern accent. So that's one voice I do. And then the other one is I'm the voice of a spaceship, like an AI voice. Granted, they did add, like frequencies to my voice. And, it was interesting because you say to yourself, well, then if you're going to add all these extra accoutrements, why not actually use AI? But I remember them saying in particular that it lacks emotion. So me as a human being, I'm able to portray the emotion. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that voice was very kind of like this. There was you know what I mean? I don't know. I remember I had to do this to get into it. And then
hey, look, you move. Hey, your patterns are like Shatner, but then you move like Data.
I remember them being in the booth. They're like, whatever you got to do to get the voice out. And then the other voice, one was my tone, my regular voice, and then one was, of course, a traditional Latin accent. That had some sort of accent. So it was fun to finally showcase my different voices that I do. Because I love to do ethereal, British, anything fantasy. I love doing that. The previous year, another voiceover gig that came out that I did was an audio Bible, where I got to record multiple voices where they took the Bible and made it like kind of this surround sound kind of a thing. And so when you hear it, you hear the waves crashing, like you feel like you're in the Bible, in the scene. And I played multiple voices, and I did that while I was pregnant. So it was very spiritual for me. I was so happy to be doing it. I was like, this is so cool. When my daughter's being naughty, I'm just going to play my voice from the Bible. And I'm like,
listen
to this.
You better hear it.
That's mommy's voice. That's right. In the Bible.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's with God now. Okay. You gotta honor thy mother and father, like they say.
I'm trying to teach about the commandments. Don't get me started. My daughter is my daughter, so she is spunky and sassy, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
Oh, for sure. So has there been a time, like when you're doing games or any other types of voiceovers, where you've actually like watched it back or played it and you were kind of surprised as to how it was used or whatever?
It's always fun to see the final product of what, is done out of the editing station. But I mean, overall, it does end up kind of what you perceive it to be. Like, for instance, when I did Theme Song Takeover, it was really fun to hear, my voice to the music and to see the final editing. And what was even great about it is, Disney kept my voice as it was, didn't enhance it, didn't do anything. So what you hear is what you get. That's my voice. And that's what I love is that, you know, when they give you an opportunity to shine, they really just let you shine, you know? And, you know, personally, I don't ever feel like they've done anything really crazy to LaCienega. My voice in general as the character is very high pitched, so I have to go really high, a little out. She's more soprano-y, but I think overall, if anything, they all just maybe make it sound a little more crisp or clear. For me, what's fun to see is just the animation, because the animation compared to it being on Disney Channel to Disney Plus is like night and day, because that was what 2004 or 5, and now we're in 2025.
And everything's all digital now too. A lot of the artwork
it's just different.
Way different.
Yeah.
Just like the new I don't know if you watched the new the recent continuation of the new X-Men.
I have not.
Is
it good?
Did the thing.
It's nice.
Yeah, they did the thing. And it was cool.
Nice.
And it was such a great an homage to where the show was left off at. It reminded me it reminded me of how Proud Family, how you guys ended and how you guys came back. How Rocco's Modern Life ended and how Rocco's Modern Life came back.
Okay, so how we end and the continuation?
It's a continuation, but it's really good though, and it also does this thing. It's what Power Rangers did when Power Rangers had the Once and Always. It grew up with the fan base from back then. So when the Cyclops,
okay, I see what you're saying. Like they grew with you. Exactly.
It's like the content is for us. I mean, it's for the kids too, but it's really for us. And where Cyclops would fire his optic blast and he'll blow up a robot. Now he's doing it as, imagine if he was blowing some stuff like it's really good. Like episode 1 and 2 are so good. They're really good.
Okay, well, I gotta check it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
On Disney Plus.
So can you share a bit about your creative process when preparing for a role, and how do you get into character, especially for roles that are vastly different from your own personality?
Well, you know, right now we're kind of exiting out of what's called a pilot season, which is the time of year that there's like a lot of auditions for pilots and whatnot. So like I sometimes don't even have a 24-hour turnaround for auditions, or even a 24-hour turnaround for when I actually book a job and I have to learn my lines. The beauty about voiceovers, you don't have to be memorized, but you have to be familiar. Because if you're not familiar, then it's going to sound like you are reading out of your book. And that's not what you want. You want everything to sound conversational and natural. I like to do character development where, as far as LaCienega goes, I already know her backstory because I created her, but I like to go, okay, where am I in this moment of time? And how is all the different textures and layers of the characters around me in the scene affecting me? And why am I saying what am I saying at that moment? So I kind of go through that subtext with myself. Now, if it's for a whole new character, a whole new audition, then I actually like highlight my lines, I box them, I number them, I give them thoughts, I do breathing slashes, I create like, you know, a whole character breakdown about who I am on the back of the script, figure out what I'm going to wear, you know, and then after I spend all that time, then I memorize the lines. Because if you know what you're saying, why you're saying it, when you're saying it, then when you speak your dialogue, your lines will come because you know what's next.
And that makes sense. So that's very,
you know, you've lived with it, you know the timing of it, you know the next word that's going to come before the first word you read, and it just gets you very comfortable. I mean,
and if you, and like, you know, not to, if you haven't experienced the situation, then I always tell my clients that find that frequency that's as similar, or someone that you know that may be. And if it gets to the extent that you don't have that 6 degrees of separation, something maybe you saw in a movie, something you read in a book, but you got to kind of find something to connect. And if you can't, then that's when you got to creatively, it's like creative writing class, create something from scratch. And then you have to start really believing it.
Very good advice. That sounds good, you know, and it makes sense as to how someone can, you know, find the development for whatever character it is they're trying to get into. 100%. And especially, you know, starting from scratch, I can see how it would be challenging, but, you know, you've had quite a bit of background in doing these things, so it would be a lot more fluid for you. But that was great advice for somebody to get started for sure.
Thank you. Thank you. Awesome.
Are there any passion projects or dream roles that you haven't had the chance to explore yet, but are eager to pursue in the future? And what excites you about these potential opportunities?
I would love to do more time period pieces. I told my whole team, I said, listen, I love the show Bridgerton. I love BBC. So I really enjoy anything that is that kind of fantasy, ethereal kind of, I just got done watching Damsel. That was so good with Millie Bobby Brown on Netflix. I love that kind of frequency. Like I'm ready to play the Queen of Spain.
Okay.
So I think something along that line would be really fun. I love action. It was really fun in 2020, going into 2021. My movie Break Even came out. That was an action-packed film. It had Steve Guttenberg, Tasia Tellis, Eric Fellows, and it was Shane Stanley directed it. CJ Wally wrote it, and that was like my joke is like that was my my action moment. Where I got to. I never worked out so hard, because I had to be on a boat and in the beach on a yacht and running around in the water. It was so much fun. So when I get to do something that's outside of all of the other kind of characters I play, it's really fun. But at the same time, like I'm very specific about the roles that I play. So every role that I've ever played, whether it's a guest star or series regular, there is some sort of lesson that you learn from it. And if I'm not resonating and connecting with it, I'm not going to audition for it. I'm not going to take the role. I'm not going to do it. There's certain things I will and won't do. And it's very empowering to say no as much as it's empowering to say yes.
Yeah, and that's the great part about, like we were saying, that you have been established. You do have that opportunity to, turn down things more often. You don't have to jump at the first thing that comes across your table like, oh, yeah, I'm going to take that because I need it.
Don't get me wrong. Listen, I love to work,
Right.
I'm humble, but at the same time, you have to make sure 100% because it's not about the money, and we all need money.
Yeah.
But you want to make sure it represents you in the best light. Some people take things because they think, oh, this is a good 5-minute situation, but you want to think of the longevity of it.
Yes.
That's why, like, sometimes when people say, okay, here's this contract or here's this opportunity or here's this whatever, take a couple days, actually take that couple days and process it. People get so excited to just make a decision, whether it's yes or no.
Right.
Think. That's all,
Yeah. And, it's definitely smart to do that because you may get stuck in a role or not even stuck. You may play something and then later, a few years down the line, you may be like, oh, man, I didn't really like that character I played in this, or this doesn't really, sit with how I am personality wise. So it's better to kind of.
You don't want to have any regrets. Exactly.
So a little known fact that I found out about you is you were in the Mariah Carey music video for her song Make It Happen. How was that experience?
So fun. And what makes me laugh is most people know what IMDb is. It's, a database for actors and producers and writers and directors. Right. So that credit is actually up on IMDb. And it just has me and Mariah listed. Like nobody else was in the video, just me and Mariah. I was laughing. I go, what are the odds of that? But that video, I was like, I don't know, maybe 8. And I'll never forget because that was during the time that I was paying my dues, doing background work and whatnot. So as a kid, that was my way to get my feet wet and to start networking and seeing what was like being on a set. And when I got to that set, I remember the director kind of pointed at me and they picked a couple kids. And I was one of the kids that got picked to dance with Mariah on stage right next to her. And I'm doing the Running Man and the Roger Rabbit. And I just was like, and it was in an old abandoned church. Okay. And it was just so beautifully done. And I was just like, who is this? Like, I didn't know who this chick was. I was like, who is this amazing singer? And, I had all these amazing close-ups and it was just a really cute video. And it's just funny how life pans out. But yeah, that was doing that video. And then I remember when I was little, I also did a movie called The Super, which was with Joe Pesci. And I was around the same age and I kind of had a small part in that. Like those little moments, like a lot of people don't know, I even had a small little part in Malcolm X. I was in one of the classroom scenes, when Malcolm X was a kid.
We'll have to possibly show everybody when we do the editing from the footage of these
we should try to find it. Yeah, that was my first time working with Spike Lee. I mean, I got a chance to be on some really, 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 really big sets as a kid. And that's when I just started to fall in love even more with the industry and go, this is exactly where I need to be. I've been doing this for such a long time. And not a lot of people realize the grind and the trials and tribulations people go through.
listen.
Everybody got a story. Everybody got a story.
Yeah.
With that, have you and Mariah ran across each other since then and like had any conversations about that video or anything?
I haven't seen her since then. I mean, I feel like I have a lot of 6 degrees of separation from Miss Mariah Carey, but I mean, at the end of the day, I'm hoping my path will cross with her one day. I feel like I might have to remind her because I don't look like I'm 7 years old. But it was one of her first videos, so I'm sure she'll probably remember because there was only
age much. You have the same faces.
I totally look like I'm 7.
So I'm like, I'm pretty sure she seems like she has a great memory from all the times I see her on TV and when she talks about things. So I'm pretty sure she'll remember. Mariah, if you get a chance to watch this, tell us if you remember Miss Reyes.
I was the little girl dancing next to you, enjoying every moment. Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, honestly, I was on stage dancing next to her as a backup dancer. It was hilarious.
I can only imagine because the Butterfly CD was on rotation in my household. So we were on our, what's it called? Tiny Tots, Little Tots, Little Tykes, what's the little play sets? We were on top of the little slide in the house. My sister's singing the songs and I'm dancing around. We used to always go up to Butterfly.
Oh, so cute. So cute.
Definitely.
You guys are so much fun. Your show's so much fun.
We try. We got to keep it live, and it's things that we experience too. And we're 80s babies, 90s kids, as ATO likes to say. So we have a lot of that background. Plus, even though we grew up, we still never lost our childlike humor, our sense of life, things like that. So we're still into our cartoons like X-Men 97 plus anime and all that other stuff. So it kind of just evolved into a more formed and educated.
I'm not. Yeah, I am one of those guys. I'm just gonna say that the 80s and the 90s created some of the best human beings, because if you think about it, the people that we looked up to that were from the 60s and the 70s are the ones who laid the foundation for us to get inspired to create the things that we loved as children, and we're able to like manifest those things in real life. You can go on the internet and you can order a Power Rangers helmet. You can go buy a man's sword. You can, the forefront of entertainment or comic book movies. Like Iron Man is a real thing now. Like it's like all those things that we love, like that we watched and stuff that you guys have acted in and participated in are all things that are tangible. We can touch those things now. And I always
what's nice is you guys are just mad conversational too. Like, you just kind of shoot it like it is. And that's what's also nice.
So I heard that
get all news anchoring kind of
thing. What I mean? All these reboots and all of the continuations of things that came out 30 plus years ago, that goes to show you how creative we were.
Yeah.
And then we had less distractions too. So think about it, like in 80s, 90s, it was less distractions. The world wasn't so busy. We didn't have access to the world on our little phones and everything. And I think we've realized that a lot of the information and things that we squandered a lot of it because we think that we're just going to get more of it, but now we're missing it, And as you said, this is the year of abundance. Yeah, very true. Because everyone's getting their just. Everyone is going to get their just this year, I believe. So looking back on your career, can you share a moment or projects that stand out as particularly impactful or transformative for you, both personally and professionally?
Transformative,
sir.
Well, of
Autobots,
course.
roll out.
Not transmitted like AI.
Transformative.
Yeah, I understood. Of course, I'm going to give love and light to All That on Nickelodeon. Yes. That was like the first series regular role I had. Brian Robbins was the creator of the show and was a part of the reason I was cast on it. And that will have left an imprint on me, ever since I was a little girl, that led the pathway for me, as well as Peter Engel. He was a huge part of my childhood. But I feel like, for instance, American Family, which was a show on PBS directed by Gregory Nava, who also directed the movie Selena. That was a very iconic show for me to be on because it was my first moment of working with nothing but Latino actors. Edward James almost played my father on the show, and Cienaga played my mother on the show, and Raquel Welch played my aunt, and just the list went on and on. Isai Morales. I mean, it was just Michael Pena played my boyfriend. It was just a list of amazing, talented people. I played the younger version of an actress named Rachel Tickerton. She was opposite of Arnold Schwarzenegger in Total Recall, and I was the younger version. I thought that was actually really good casting because we kind of look alike a little bit. And so that's just a little touch of examples of frequencies. And as of right now, like I would say one of my babies that I'm really proud of is a documentary that I produced and that I'm in called The Orange Years, which is following the chronological order of Nickelodeon, showing all the love and light about it and just all the amazing different shows that came out of it, and how it started off with Geraldine Laybourne, who was like the first female president of Nickelodeon. So Scott Barber, who's my business partner, was the director of that. And I got a chance to have Keenan and Kel, Lori Beth and Josh in it, Danny Tamborelli. Just the list goes on and on. Mark Summers, Phil Moore from Nick Arcade, and all the other Nickelodeon croonies that I was able to ask to be a part of it. So, those moments where I can extend the olive branch, and now that I get to be behind the scenes and that I'm producing and that I'm writing, it just really allows me to show my fans, to show boys and girls out there, especially women of diversity, that look, I could do it. And now I'm a new mom of a beautiful 2.5-year-old daughter. I have a beautiful family, a supportive husband, and I just feel really blessed to be doing what I love and to be thriving through these crazy times right now. And the most important thing is just for us to stay grounded and connected to God and our higher self, whatever that is for you. Not to get all deep, but I really feel compelled to share that I feel like, Mother Earth is going through a major ascension right now. And it's important for us as a mass to just shift up with that awareness of our consciousness and to just really be that light that we want to see in others. Because right now, with shows like this and with social media, people's attention spans are so short. So being able to touch the world like this, the way you're doing it, the way that I'm doing it, is all that we can continue to be as light workers and continue to spread that love and light.
I like that.
That's a good statement. Light workers. I had never thought about it like that, but yeah, definitely can say that the two of us are considered light workers.
Wonderful.
So the orange year.
Finally meet you, fellow.
Yes. And it won't be the last time. So we'll definitely be, interacting more.
Just an FYI as well. So for a lot of the guests that have been, I always let them know that there's going to be a point where we're going to do it in studio if you're available. Okay. And we'll take care of all of the accommodations.
You guys are in LA?
Yeah, we'll probably do LA because a lot of the people are in LA.
We would definitely go either, LA, but definitely.
Where
LA.
are you guys?
San Diego.
Okay, that's not too far. Yeah, but if you can make it out to LA, that would be cool. You could probably rent a studio for just the day.
Oh no, definitely. I've already made arrangements for a few different things. I mean, but it's one of the things that because when the idea came to me like many, many years ago, and I didn't know how I wanted to start it, and I didn't want to do the rinky-dink camera and I don't know what I'm talking about. I just know that I have a passion for something.
A company called you ever heard of what's it called? AfterBuzz? What's that company called?
No.
I have to think. There's a company that you guys could reach out to, because I feel like you would be good for. They have setups like that, and you could do your show in studio. Full setup there.
Nice.
So we got together. I kind of ran because this has been on me for years, right? Like maybe 2 years. I have some buddies down in Miami and stuff, and they gave me some pointers and they gave me tips, and they're like, if you want to continue to pursue this, we'll definitely be there for you. And then we also have the people that are also helping us, that helped us kind of get this thing launched. So then I was like, I'm just going to do it. So I decided to do it, linked up with Corey. He's very smart, like very brilliant, and we work well together. And, where I fall short, he picks that up, right? And vice versa. But I think the dynamic between the two of us works because we love the same things, we love the same stuff, and then we have this Rolodex of people that we care about, and let's just put them on here and shine a light on them and make people see who they are and expand the fan base, I guess, if you will, because I'm all about giving out information, and I'm all about just trying to do something different to inspire somebody else, because you guys inspired me to become who I am today. Like, and
well, feelings are mutual. I'll definitely love to do your show again, and let me know when you're ready to cross promote. I have the flyer that you gave me. I mean, this has been so much fun, and you guys have been lovely. And hopefully I'll meet you guys in person in the next year.
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
absolutely.
For sure. Absolutely, definitely.
So lastly, what exciting projects can your fans look forward to in the near future, and where can they follow your journey to stay updated, like your social media, your websites, all of that good stuff?
Well, you can follow me at alisareyes.com. I have a newsletter. I got a link tree that takes you to everything. I'm on social media, verified across the board. But as far as latest projects, I have a film called Out Sisters. It's called Sisters. It's on BET Plus. It's kind of like a crime suspense thriller, a little bit of action. It was directed by Jamar Hill, and we have a really, really fun cast. I got a chance to work with Lil Mama, and she's just a hoot, and I love her. Yeah, she just made me miss my East Coast roots all day, every day. I love being on set with her.
Yeah, she's BX down.
Isn't she smart? That girl, isn't she brilliant?
Her energy is just fire. And her and I got along immediately. We were just bam, 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 back and forth. Like anytime I was on set, I just was gigging with her. It was so much fun. And so, yeah. And then of course, there's going to be season 3 of The Proud Family, Louder and Prouder, coming out really soon. I can't wait to give you guys the date. Just remember, animation takes a while. And because of the strike last year, everything's just slightly delayed, but it's going to be coming out soon with all brand new episodes. And I have new stuff coming out with LaCienega, which I'm excited to share about later on this year. If you want to check out my movie, The Orange Years, go,
That's what I was going to ask about.
Stream it. You can rent it. You can buy it. Just put The Orange Years into your computer. It'll pop right up. And yeah, I have a couple of new songs that are coming out that are going to be on my streaming platforms like, Spotify, Amazon, Google Play, iTunes, and all that fun stuff. And yeah, I've been writing and producing a lot of things that are in fruition. So you just have to stay posted because, I'm a boss lady. So it's not just always on camera. I'm also behind the camera. And, I also coach and do motivational speaking. So if you want more about that, and you can sign up for my newsletter on my link tree that's under my profile on all my social media.
Perfect. Well, this is that type of talk, and we appreciate having Alisa Reyes on here. And we hope and look forward to having you on again in the near future to do, like ATO said, live studio, or, just another one like this. If you have a big project coming up, we definitely will bring you back on to go over it and tell the fans about what you've done.
Yeah. And also I wanted to say shout out to this October. I will be at a convention called SplatCon here in California. So you'll definitely want to come check me out. It's in Los Angeles at the Hilton, I think on October 19th and 20th. Come say hi to me at my table. I'm going to be having a lot of special moments, merch, all that fun stuff. So you don't want to miss out. And the promo code for me is lowercase Alisa 10 or lowercase Alisa 25 to get a little discount.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Well, cool. We'll definitely have to come out there and support as well. Make it out.
That would be awesome. Yeah, come, guys, because it would be great to see you, and then maybe you get a chance. We could do some in-person interviews.
For sure. Nice. Definitely, we'll do that. Well, we won't take up too much more of your time. I know that you're a new mother and you need to get back to your fam, so we'll go ahead and let you get back to them. But we appreciate
I love you guys. Mucho besitos. Thank you.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Bye-bye.
Okay, God bless. Okay, bye-bye.
Why are you off?
Thank you guys for watching today. And we appreciate you tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe.
Check out the Patreon. Holler at us. I appreciate y'all. Also, go to all of our social medias. It's that type of talk. The underscore. Is it underscore?
Yes, sir.
The underscore. The
Good.
Underscore K Good. And yours truly, ATO Worldwide. Blah, 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 whatever. But thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate y'all. We're going to do our best to continue to bring out some amazing, dope episodes and give y'all personalities like this right here, because this is me every day.
Stay locked in.
Stay locked in.
Not going anywhere.
Bye.